Now that's just fun.
Welcome, I'm Andy. I'm a medieval history teacher in America, and I love seeing the medieval places I teach about. Now, even though I live a bit far from any castles or walled towns, not all is lost. Even around here there are places that are at least inspired by the Middle Ages, and we're going to see one of these places today. It's called the Boynton Chapel in Door County, Wisconsin, and it's based off of a medieval design called a stave church, or stave church. I've heard it both ways. It's extremely cool. Let's go take a look. This chapel was built by Winifred Boynton. She was interested in Norwegian art and architecture, and she decided to build her house and other buildings on her estate in a historic Norwegian style, and that included the chapel, which they patterned after a medieval stave church that she and her husband saw in Norway. Now, the name stave refers to the upright, split logs used to build them. These were timber-based buildings, which made them very different from the Gothic and Romanesque stone churches that were all the rage throughout high medieval Europe. Now, the medieval Scandinavians did build in the Gothic style, in stone, sometimes with hired English masons to help them out, but their best works were these stave churches, where they applied their own native timber working skills, which had long been their strength. Think of Viking longships, or their mead halls, like the one in the poem Beowulf, which centers on the magnificent hall built for the Danish king Hrothgar. But inspired by the scale and magnificence of the grand churches of Christendom, they used their woodworking skills to construct these really unique creations. Stave churches once numbered in the thousands, but being made of timber, there are very few left, and so they're not as well known. Even in this 800-page history of architecture that I was looking at, there are pages and pages on Gothic, but nothing on stave churches. One of the chapel's best features is its rich roof design. It has this layering of gables, each at a different height, giving this sense of progression toward the belfry at the summit. And around the door are these beautiful animal interlace carvings, a style which you might recognize from Viking ships, or illuminated manuscripts like the Book of Kells or the Lindisfarne Gospels from early medieval Celtic monasteries. The carvings around the door are dragons, which Winifred recognized that dragons could be a symbol of evil. However, she made the case that historically they've been used to guard places against evil as well. Now, the chapel interior is closed this year, sadly. However, there are fine carvings on the inside as well, above the doorway, on the pulpit, and especially on the baptismal font, which they took to be kind of the crowning glory of the chapel. It has carvings of dragons and of the disciples on it. Winifred's husband estimated that it actually took them over 600 hours to carve the font, which was an estimate that Winifred found believable. The chapel feels right at home in Door County, an area settled largely by Norwegians and Swedes, and the whole area has visible nods to its Scandinavian heritage. Winifred began building the chapel in 1939, which means the bulk of its construction took place during World War II, It was a very uncertain time. People didn't know which direction the world was going to go. She wanted the chapel to be a symbol of hope for even after her own time. She thought that it might play some sort of role in a larger revitalization of church culture. It's easily accessible. Go see it if you're in the area. And if you like this content, if you enjoy seeing historical places, subscribe to the channel and go ahead and hit that like button if you would to promote the video. See you later.